YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here yet again, ready to roll with a recap. We got Monday Night Football to talk about here. Join as always, Stu. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good week of football here so far. We got a solid game tonight. I was just telling you I was complaining about no Jameis Winston starting. I think that's a crime against national football fans. I mean, give Dart another week. The guy's head is still probably a little bit scrambled. He's taken a lot of hits this year. We need Jameis Winston. The people want Jameis Winston. The people need Jameis Winston. So that's a bummer. I'm a little sad about that. But, beyond that, still should be a competitive enough game. Should be pretty solid. And, yeah, excited to jump into and talk a little bit about this week as well.
Yeah, let's kind of talk about the games here, Stu. I know we got some games to talk about. Just going through the slate yesterday. I want to make sure I give my big shout out to the fucking Panthers, bro. Shout out to Panthers. That's like their third fucking huge win, bro. Like taking down those guys minus 10, I think, ended up closing 10.5. And unbelievable. That was so big for me. You have no fucking clue, bro. Like I was sitting here, I'm like, Seattle's going to beat the piss out of these dudes. Like, Brosmer was fucking horrible.
Oh, boy.
I played that Seattle defense this week. They had 48 in my league. So you can guess I lost this week.
Nice.
So, we got we had that. Obviously, my Seattle to win the division bet. They're tied. They're now tied going into that. So that was awesome. I got to experience that. And then, obviously, Stafford kind of sucked, bro. Like, he kind of sucked. He pick six, fumbled, threw another pick in the end zone. Like, that was big. I don't know if you checked. I know you know because I immediately sent it to you once that game was over. I have 100 to 1 ticket and 120 to 1 ticket on fucking Dak Prescott to win that MVP. He's 12 to 1, bro. He's 12 to fucking 1, bro. And Stafford went from minus 250 to plus 110. Flipped that much. Obviously, Drake May is there. I get it. But if Dak wins out and Drake May wins out, I think Dak's winning that shit, bro. I think you look at the schedule. I think you look at that schedule. I think that shit's that's theirs, bro. And I just need the Rams to lose to Seattle on that last week and just punch that thing down and let's do this.
And I mean, we got another chance tonight. Drake May in primetime. If he doesn't even if they win, if they don't win with style, if it's another kind of boring, like lackluster, like the Jets game where he didn't really like ball out in primetime or anything like that, like I don't know. It could get a little bit closer. I really just think Dak needs to win out. Like I think if he wins out, I think he wins. Even if May wins out as well, like you said. Like I don't know how you give it to May over if Dak truly does lead that comeback there, like it's his. So man, and you got the perfect Stafford outcome, and it's funny because if you look at that game, everything pointed towards Stafford putting up 400 and 400.
Yes, I know. I was nervous for everything.
Bottom tier pass rush, no JC Horror, no safety because he punched the guy in the nuts. Like they've got their backup squad out there and they went toe to toe. It was a weird game, but I mean, Bryce looked really good out there. I mean, just shout out to the Panthers. That was best case scenario I know for your bets. And even mine too. I got the Jaguars up there back to 8-4. Danny Dimes with his fibula injury. We could get the double division winner on the show right here, which would be pretty sick. So pretty good weekend overall in terms of the future stuff.
Yeah, Dak. It's tough because obviously my other futures bet was Dak to win in passing yards. And as of right now, he's ahead of Mahomes. I'm not even going to really use that yet much because Drake May still hasn't had his bye week yet. So he's obviously way up towards the top when he's going to fall, crater all the way down that thing when he actually has his bye week because I think he's like 30 or 40 yards per game less than Dak right now. So, but he's obviously got an extra game under his belt there. So, feeling good about that. Let's talk a little bit more. Let's talk about those pesky Jets, baby. Taking down Kirk Cousins, who continues to just be shit. Kyle Pitts, wide receiver 1 now, I guess. I need Drake London back, bro. That's all I need. Yeah. That offense just looks so horrible without him, dude.
Yeah, no, I think you might be the only person in the world that watched this game. So congrats. I did have Tyrod anytime touchdown. So him hitting that at plus 700 there at the end was very nice. he just went into, a little vintage Tyrod there, just kind of running around at the end. So that's sort of the only part I saw once the other game cut off and it went to the, the little overtime broadcast. But yeah, shout out, I guess, to the Jets. Their defense is a little bit underrated, but also the Falcons are just so bad that it's like, who cares? Like, I don't know. I've seen people bet Darnell Mooney this every week. I don't know if he even went over or not, but it's like, why
No, 2 for 25.
Yeah, it's like I see it every single week. I'm like, what's the appeal here? Like, I'd rather bet. I mean, I wasn't gonna bet Kenny Stills, but I'd rather just bet Bijan through the air or something or on the ground. Like, very, very, very odd, I guess. But yeah, like you said, my fantasy team and everyone needs Drake London back. So let's get that going. Right in time for playoffs, right?
Yeah, no, I need it bad. I'm gonna have a fight next week, but it's gonna. I mean, I'm just putting my entire faith on the fucking Dak anyway because he's got the Lions on Thursday, so gonna need that big game. But last one I want to bring up is we can talk Shador before we get going here. We're at 70 live viewers in here. The first couple minutes, appreciate you guys joining us. What's your thought? I'll tell you what I think here in a sec, but what's your thought after that game?
Well, in the first half, it was like, oh my God, is this guy gonna fucking win another one? Like it was kind of close. It was like 8-10 at half or something like that. Like, but then yeah, they got crushed in the second half. I mean, I didn't watch it super close. It looked like he had a good enough game. I don't think it was a good game, but like the expectation was that this guy was gonna be worse than Dorian Thompson-Robinson and those guys. I think he's already better than Dylan Gabriel. So whatever hate people want to give him, you got to give a little bit of credit as well. But he's also, it's so funny because he's truly unlikable. Like he's such an unlikable guy that it's so perfect. Like I'm really rooting for his success just because I think it's like the funniest thing possible. So I'm Team Shador. I know he got banged up and Dylan Gabriel came in, but he got back out there. So
I watched the game. It's because I was at my parents' house, and of course they don't have Sunday tickets, so they have one fucking game. So I have to watch the one game that's on, and of course it's the worst game of all.
That's rough.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there, dude. He threw that touchdown in the first half. No one within 10 yards of him. Harold Fannin had a good route there. He was wide open. Second half, I'm not gonna lie, dude. That was horrible fucking quarterback, bro. Throw the fucking football away. Like it was infuriating, dude. He was holding the ball for 5 seconds, running in a circle like you can do in college and chuck it down the field 30 yards. You run in a circle, dude. These dudes are way too fast. Like, it was way too fast. I saw him take like 4 or 5 sacks on like over 4 seconds. Like, it was, I'm like, dude, just throw the ball away. Like, throw it away. And obviously the last play of the game, 4th and 20, whatever it was, he decides he wants to run for it and then takes a knee after 5 yards. I'm like, dude, just chuck that bitch in the end zone, man. Chuck it. But I get it. It was cold outside. I was very surprised at how well Purdy did against that defense. So obviously they're heading into their bye week as well. So we'll see. That division is good, man. That division, and so is the North. We'll see how the Lions do.
I was going to say, Coop messaged who's the Super Bowl odds favorite. And I was like, it's probably not the Rams anymore, but it is the Rams. They're plus 450. And then the Seahawks are plus 700. So just back to back, freaking number 1 and number 2. I remember you and me were getting some crazy looks when we were doing our Seahawks propaganda at the beginning of the year. So that feels good to see. But yeah, it's wide open. Whenever someone asks me this year, I'm like, you got as good of a guess as I do. Like, there's no real elite teams this year. But yeah, I was not watching Purdy. Shador. I was watching the only guy that managed to be worse than him this weekend, Max Brosmer, who I think was paid by the NFL to prove, yes, you can be worse than J.J. McCarthy. Because, oh my God, especially early when he threw that interception where he just flicked the ball underhand.
I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch it.
It went viral. That's why I thought you might have seen it. But early on, he's like getting sacked like 15 yards behind the line, and he just does the thing where he just throws it up randomly and instant pick six, like instant, immediate. So that was interesting, But the only final game I'll bring up is my freaking Commanders at night. I mean, that was a banger. That was an absolute banger. Back and forth, overtime game. They lost, which is what I was rooting for. We got to get that draft position. We're not making the playoffs. I don't care about winning games. I want a better pick. But that was a fun game. And, I mean, overtime, Debo with that late catch, Cherry getting it brought back. And then it was crazy, back and forth. I'm glad they missed the 2-point conversion there. But, yeah, that was a banger. And we were talking a little bit before the show. Like, Broncos, man, this team is so fraudulent. Also, you got R.J. Harvey, right? You're coming out of a bye week, right? your plan for the playoffs this is the run, right? You need to start installing that offense. You need to start getting ready. I get having 2 yards per carry against the Chiefs. That's reasonable. 2.7 yards per carry against the Commanders. That's really bad. And then also, why do we need to see Jaleel McLaughlin get 8 carries every game as well? Like, we've seen it for 4 straight years. And I don't know if he's ever broken off a big play in his life before. Like, can we at least get RJ Harvey some touches? Is he really just not the guy? Like, what's going on there? Because they need to figure that out like instantly if they want to be a playoff team with Bo Nix as your quarterback. Because Dobbins was cooking earlier in the year when that was getting going. This offensive line is rated by pretty much everyone as the best offensive line in football. If you can't get RJ Harvey going, like I don't know. That's a huge problem because then you got to rely on your unreliable wide receiver tandem out there with Bo Nix at quarterback. So I'm very curious what happens because this should have been the Harvey breakout game. You know what I mean? Like against that front with that offensive line, but just no dice.
Yeah. No, it was tough to watch. Also, yeah, dude, I looking through. Seattle's got a good chance anyone, man, to take that shit down, bro. They had a good chance. They have it all in front of them. Some good games next week as well. Obviously, way better than this one. But let's talk our recap here. I'll be the only loss on the show here. I think we're now 6-1 over our last 7 bets. Obviously, Breece Hall does not get there. I'm like, dude, we're gonna get overtime, and this fucker's gonna get it, bro. Yeah. And then Nick Folk up from the dead, 60 yards. Really, the dude's like 80. That dude has to have arthritis in both knees, bro. For real, like crazy. But yeah, Breece Hall over 92.5. Close 99. So you feel good about that, but no dice. Obviously, that CLV doesn't get you money, doesn't get you paid all the time. So
I've learned that this year, man.
Yeah.
Learned that. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I liked Breece in this one. And like you said, I thought it was going to be extended a little bit more, but unfortunately, he made that freaking field goal.
Yeah. No, that would have been tough. That was tough. I know. I can't be mad because I did cash like a 4-leg alt line parlay on Devin Neal, 3 catches, and the dude had 1 catch, and then Shuck scores the touchdown, and then they get the onside, and I'm like, fuck yeah! And they gave me, and I got the win on that because it was garbage time shit. So I'm like. Sometimes you get those. Sometimes you have to give up one to get one, and you do it long enough. Those happen more often than not. So, yeah, shout out to the Jets, man.
That Saints game was sneakily the worst game of the week, honestly, because I watched it because I had 2 attempts. So I was sweating under attempts the whole time. The Saints, the whole first half, get the ball, run, nothing, run,
yeah, I
nothing.
know.
Pass, punt. I'm like, we have the perfect game script. And Shane almost has 100 in the first half, and Tua might go over because this team can't hold the ball for more than 5 seconds. But luckily, even then, with the Saints being garbage, he still stayed under. But that was crazy to watch. Like
Tyler Shuck, bro, he actually looked good in the second half. He didn't look terrible.
Yeah, that first half was real bad, though. And I mean, the second half, he benefited from, I don't know, like he can generate explosives. He can do some downfield stuff, which is what they were missing, but they don't have a run game at all. And they don't have an intermediate game really either. So,
yeah, it's all Juwan Johnson pretty much. It's just Juwan Johnson over the middle. And, yeah, when you don't have Kamara in there to do those underneath routes, it takes a lot out of you. But Neal looks explosive, man. He had a couple like 8-9 yard runs where they were actually like, oh wow, yeah, Kamara doesn't do this. Like
he almost got benched for Evan Hull in the first half. So he got that drive after he went like 2 for 0. They put fucking that random dude in.
And then they threw the fucker in, and then he starts like, all right, we're not gonna do this. And then he ended up with like 16 carries. I'm like, all right, that's kind of what we expected. But yeah, Breece goes down. Taylor does cash pretty easy. I think he had a 30-yard catch, right?
Yep, 30-yard catch early on. It's like what we said. Freaking Daniel Jones took a couple sacks. I was like, why are you dropping this guy in the pocket so much? And then that next drive, immediately they come out and go, fuck it, we need screens, and hit him with a couple of screens. It was nice. Took it 30 yards. Yeah, no, it was pretty much right how we drew it up there. So happy to see that one go through. Big Jonathan Taylor fan this week, and yeah, he got the job done.
Very nice. So we went 1-1 on those, 41-31 so far. And we get another sweep, another 3-1 roll here. We swept up the Dogs. Shout out to the Jets. Straight money line Jets. Cardinals lose by 3. So it moves us to 14-7. 66% on dog picks so far this year, Stu. Pretty wild.
I know, right? I mean, this started as like a random little thing we did last year, the year before. Yeah, because it's fun to talk about more games, but it's actually fun to just narrow it down to one. The Cardinals, I mean, actually both of them made us sweat, honestly. The Cardinals look like trash, too. That was the funny part. Baker looked even better than expected out there. I thought he might be a little bit more hampered than he was. Chris Godwin decided he was good too. I know Bucky came from, because they had some weird quotes about Bucky, about like he has to get his mental right, or I was like, oh, okay. But he came back, he looked good, and yeah, it was. I'm glad the Cardinals could just backdoor that and make it competitive there at the end, because when it mattered, Brissett got that good drive going, but it was pretty ugly before that. But hey, glad to get the cover.
Yeah, dude. Imagine if they started him all year, man. Fuck, that dude might be killing my bet on fucking Dak for passing yards. That dude is just chucking the ball around. Yep. So I'm happy he's doing it. I'm just happy he missed a few weeks, because that would really piss me off if I lost this bet to Jacoby.
Yeah. No, I mean, highest pass rate over expectation in football as a backup is so funny. Like, they just put him in. We're just like, fuck it. Trey McBride's going to leave if you don't throw him the ball. Just him, please. And Brissett understood the assignment, and he looks good out there. Funnily enough, like Brissett, however much he was going to make before this year, he doubled it easily. Probably got himself an extra year as well. When you're old, you probably want to prioritize years over dollars. So yeah, shout out to Brissett. I mean, he's just extended his career by a couple of years, because everyone needs a backup that's dependable. Honestly, same with Mariota last night as well. Mariota had the best game, like one of the best games against this defense in a little bit. Freaking Terry McLaurin had the best game against Patrick Surtain since 2013. So yeah, it's one of those things where, if you're a backup, you can go out there and perform. You're going to get paid, because, these guys get injured a shit ton.
Yeah, and on that, before we get into it, we'll get into don't worry, we'll get there. We only got one game to talk about, so it's going to go pretty fast. But, man, when the Vikings going to sign somebody, bro? Like, how fucking shitty do you feel letting Sam Darnold go? I mean, I know Darnold didn't have to do shit yesterday. Yesterday probably killed all the JSN top, all that stuff. All the record stuff got killed. He killed me yesterday as well. But you think, like, holy shit, dude, Sam Darnold's out here putting up another fucking season like this, another 9-3, and you're sitting here with having to play a game with Max fucking Brosmer and JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, is Wentz going to come back this year, or is he done?
No, season-ending shoulder.
Because that's really what they needed, like just a competent kind of backup. But yeah, no, I guess Desmond Ridder, I guess that's a good call. I mean, that's probably who'd be next up. Although I saw John Watford was their backup for this game. If people remember, I think he started a Rams playoff game like 3
years ago or something.
So that is the backup. I thought he went to the XFL, but I guess he must have come back since then. So I assume he is worse than Desmond Ridder, but there's no real way to tell. So I don't know. I don't know how you can start. The funny thing, though, is they were really trying to push the Brosmer thing. Like, I don't know if you saw the quote from, like, the Vikings.
Yeah, he went to meet U of M. He went to Minnesota.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, this guy could be our, hidden gem. This guy could be our Brock Purdy or whatever. And then, not
in his defense, that is probably the worst place to go. In your first
not against
like that was like,
He looked really, really bad. So I don't know, because he's just budget like Dylan Gabriel. He's got no arm. So it's all like point and shoot, like quick, decisive. And once defenses know that, they can just jump every route and just go for the pick. And that's what they did. So it's unfortunate for him. Like you said, bad start, but I don't know if he's going to get a second chance after that one. Everyone gets one chance in the league. First impressions matter. And that was as bad of a first impression as you can get. But maybe they have no choice but to run him out there next week. Although JJ should probably be back by then. And hey, he'll probably look a little bit better in comparison,
Yeah, when you're comparing those two, I think they said that. If you got the ball every time and threw the ball into the ground and spiked it every time, you have like a 39% passer rating, and both of them are under that. That's fucking nuts, dude. I thought that was the most funny thing I've ever read. Like, how bad you have to be for that. But
although that doesn't really make sense to me logically. But either way, it was a funny stat. You
don't take sacks, right? You don't turn the ball over if you just do that.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like that's not real. Like, I don't know. Like, I get it, but it's whatever. Like, I don't know.
McBride and Bowers are gods. Yes.
Oh, can I say, I bet Jefferson requested trade this offseason. He went out with no media. I would not be surprised. Him and A.J. Brown might be on the chopping block, so that could be
The
interesting.
funny part is A.J. Brown's the only dude who's looked good this week, and now I feel like everybody's on A.J. Brown's side now. I think that's funny. Have you seen that? Like, a lot of people have flipped it because the Eagles have looked so bad that A.J. Brown was actually telling the truth. It is like, dude, we needed to use those fucking shit teams to get our offense going, and they didn't, and they win by 3. And now A.J. Brown's got to say something because, Sirianni is just the fucking butt of all the jokes, dude. Fucking doesn't do shit, doesn't do anything. Like, just sits there and yells at him and, well, do something about it. Like, continue to be fucking shit, so.
No changes in offensive coordinator, no play call changes, just gonna ride or die with these guys. So I mean, good luck. I mean, it's just because Hurts has been bad, so it's like no one wants to be on team Hurts. Might as well be on team, 6'4", fast as hell, elite wide receiver. It's probably a little bit more fun to be on his team. But yeah, the reading on the sideline shit from last year is still gold. We need to bring that back because that was the best. That was the best bit, honestly.
All right, let's get into today's game, Stu. We'll get into it here. We have the Giants at the Patriots. 7.5 is what I'm seeing on DraftKings for the Patriots. Over under 46.5, feeling pretty pretty lopsided on who's going to be scoring all those points with Jackson Dart coming back. What is your thoughts on this game? And then if you want to pick one of the 4, let's get this rolling.
Yeah, it was 7 most of the week. It just now started to move out to 7.5 on a couple books, which is interesting. I think that's just the side I'll take. The Patriots are they're good, obviously. Don't get me wrong, but they're kind of destined for one of these like slip up games. They've won some close ones. They looked real bad against the Bengals before Burrow. Like, I don't know. Like, their defense is good. But who are you going to take out with those corners, right? With Christian Gonzalez, you got Marcus Jones, and you got Carlton Davis. That's a very good corner trio. I mean, the weakest link, Marcus Jones, who's been good this year, is going to get Wandale mostly, which is your best target. And then what? You're going to take out like Darius Slayton on the outside. He's not really separating from anyone anyway. Like, I don't know. I don't know if the Patriots' strengths are going to be emphasized here. And for me, when I look at a dog, like I honestly think the Giants could win this game outright. Like, I think the pass rush on defense, you need like a game-breaking unit, and the Giants pass rush is good. They're very talented. It hasn't maybe lived up to expectation, especially Abdul Carter getting off to a weird start, kind of weird usage as well. But yeah, I think the Giants could cause some problems here. The biggest thing is just like the Patriots create explosive plays. That's what they do on offense. That is how they win games. Drake May bombs. Drake May down the field. They're not, I mean, as much as Vrabel wants to run it like 14 times up the gut and like slowly move, that's not really what they do. They generate chunk plays, and that's when they're best. So, I don't know if the Giants can necessarily keep up with that. And the Giants play man coverage. They're a single high safety defense. They allow you to take those shots. They encourage you to take those shots. That's kind of the sacrifice for getting pressure on a quarterback. If you want to blitz, if you want to stack the box, and they have the worst run defense in football. So, hey, you got to stack the box. That's what you have to do if you want to slow down these opposing backs. But you're going to give up those opportunities on the back end. The biggest thing for the Patriots is just like you got 15 guys that could capitalize. So it's a little bit tricky to narrow it down sometimes. But yeah, overall, I think the Giants can keep it close. I don't really like quarterbacks coming off injury, but concussions, it's normally one of those things where if you clear it and stuff like that, like obviously there has been a long-term trend of guys coming back from concussions and being worse. Like that's a pretty notable data point across the, last 10, 15 years of football. But recently they changed the rules a little bit to keep quarterbacks in protocol like longer. Like you never see a quarterback clear week of anymore. You know what I mean? If you're in concussion protocol at the end of the week, you're not starting, or at the beginning of the week that week. So I feel like we've kind of seen guys come back a little bit better. CJ even yesterday looked a little bit better than I thought he would. So I don't know. I feel like Dart would only be back if he's healthy. I think they can probably backdoor cover this game. The Patriots run game isn't really like good enough. They kind of stall when they get ahead sometimes because they try to get into this like Vrabel when he had Derrick Henry play calling kind of mode. And instead it's fucking Ramondre Stevenson for 1.5 yards. And Henderson's finally taken over a little bit more now. But yeah, I think the Giants can keep it close. It was between the under and the Giants for me. But those kind of correlate, obviously, because I think if the Patriots cover, they're putting up 30. They're putting up big points in this and just taking care of business. But yeah, I think the Giants and the under is kind of the way I'm looking here.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm still kind of on that edge on if I think the Patriots are that good. It's just I know that they haven't played anybody. I know the Giants aren't really anything that's going to scare you. But what I will say is the Giants have done a good job of keep away from the other sides, which I just don't think is going to really work in this game. I think that Patriots run defense should just shut it up real quick. And I'm curious what's going to happen when that happens. Like, what are we going to do? Maybe we have like third and fourth quarter Jameis packages. Hopefully, that's what that would be. That would be hype. I would be hoping that happens. But I probably would lean with the under, if anything. I'd have to look at weather as well. I didn't look at any of the weather.
It's cold as hell and a little bit windy. Obviously, I don't know the full report, but I've just been hearing cold as hell. So the big thing, those Patriots lost Milton Williams. I've talked about it a bunch of times. Look what happens when he goes out for one game. Chase Brown has the best game any running back has had against him all year. And even Breece Hall had the best game the week before that when he got banged up and went out. So it's like, I don't know if that run defense is going to be quite as good going forward. You obviously.
How long is he out for?
I don't know. I think it's a little bit. It might. I don't know if it's season ending, but I think it's regular season ending. But I can check on that in a minute here. Obviously, the thing is the Giants' freaking tandem of Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary is not very intimidating to most people, but still, yeah, he's on injured reserve. Williams is so. It'll be interesting. That's the kind of thing I'm monitoring the most for the rest of the season. Because before, not allowing a 50-yard running back all year is like elite. You know what I mean? But if you're going to now be more of a middle of the pack defense, you play a lot of man coverage, so you allow some explosives. Like that could be a little bit interesting. But yeah, I don't know if the Giants are necessarily the team that can actually like punish you with that. But I guess we'll see tonight.
All right, let's jump into it, and then we'll get into some of these questions. I'm going to be playing another defensive prop. I'm actually going to the side of the Giants here, going to Bobby Okereke. I'm going to be going to over 8.5 tackles. He's been really, really good this year. Obviously, when you're on the field a lot, you're going to make a lot of tackles. But what I want to look at here is these last couple weeks, right? Obviously, the Packer game, the Bears game. And then the Lions game, right? So you have the Lions where the Giants had the ball for 90% of the first half. Go to the Packer game. They just tried to keep away the whole game, and they did a pretty good job of it. They had like 38 minutes of possession in those games, which obviously he can't make any tackles if he's not on the field. And obviously when you're rolling with Jameis Winston, you have the ability, to push the ball down the field, right? I think today I don't see them really being able to push the ball down the field that much. I know you kind of talked about that as well when your best receiver is fucking Wan'Dale Robinson with a 3-8 dot. Makes some things a little bit tougher. So I think that we're going to see the Giants kind of flipped in that sense where the Giants will be, the team with less possession, which, they haven't really had that the last couple of weeks. Then on top of that, I liked you kind of talking about like the 2-3 headed monster on that side, right, of running backs. They're just going to rotate through. The best part about this team is that pass rush, right? That's the best part about this team by like a significant margin. So I do think we might see a little bit more of those underneath routes. If you give him a little bit more time, yes, I'm assuming those are going to still be open, but you have to give him enough time for that. Campbell being out obviously leads me to a little bit more to this as well. I know Campbell is that rookie that everybody's kind of been talking about, obviously first round pick. So maybe we do see a little bit more conservative, play calling because, you're missing a left tackle who's been very, very good so far this year. So I think just a combination of time of possession, quicker routes, just so you don't have to deal with that pass rush. I saw Abdul Carter should be playing in this one. We should have everybody in there. It's just between him and Brian Burns, right? It's him and Brian Burns just doing everything for this team. And I think Okereke is going to be able to, have to fill up all the gaps in the run game. He's obviously very, very fast. And I think this is a spot where we see him going sideline to sideline and keeping this game a little bit closer.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's when a team is like the worst run defense in football too, like teams just are going to run on you at a higher rate. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it leads to. And Okereke, he's been just a consistent, like good linebacker in the league for a while now. He's pretty dependable out there. And yeah, it's just it's like not like, Ramondre is the toughest guy to get down. Even Henderson. I mean, Henderson has a couple big chunk plays, but really a lot of stuffs as well. So, yeah, I like the spot right here. I think the volume should be good. And I honestly like the point you made about like the Giants time of possession stuff as well, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of betting the Giants like it's Jameis Winston starting, and it's like the game plan is going to be way different.
Way different.
And I think honestly a little bit less successful when you're not out there playing loose and kind of slinging it. Like Jameis really plays like he has nothing to lose, which is kind of the common thing you see with these successful backups. Same with Jacoby Brissett. Like they're playing free as hell. Dart, not as much. She's a rookie, still learning. It's a little bit more rigid. And even like Coop said, the rushing could be down a little bit. So yeah, I just think they're going to struggle more on offense. And I think that's going to lead to the Patriots having these longer drives. And I think that's where Okereke should cook. I think the only problem is, like I said earlier, the Patriots do generate a ton of explosives. So like I think they could have some real quick drives, but I honestly think the Giants are could struggle enough where like there are a lot of drives, there are a lot of opportunities for him to get those tackles. So I like the spot. I think 8.5 is a good number there.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I talked about that because I know he hasn't hit it in three straight games, right? So that is why, right? That you need to be on the field to make that happen. 68, 55, and 68 defensive plays. That's not really that high. He's had a couple games this year. The ones over 70s, he's hitting this number, right? Where he's been on the field for that many plays. So we like that. Let's take a peek here at some questions here. Not really a question, but it's a Theo Johnson day. Are you in agreement there? I did almost bet on Robert Spillane as well because he is kind of, that guy who makes every tackle over the middle for this team for the Patriots, but makes it a little tougher when I don't think he's going to be on the field that much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good spot. I mean, Theo Johnson, I don't know how I feel about that guy. Like he's kind of a mid tight end, but he's kind of that good, like dependable over the middle. Like you need a wide receiver, like everyone's covered downfield. So yeah, I think it should be a pretty good spot for him.
Do we just think that Isaiah Hodgins goes back to the shadow realm or what?
I mean, I don't ever think much about that guy anyway. Like I mean, I don't know. It's a tough matchup, It's a tough matchup out there. You got Christian Gonzalez on the outside across from you. He's not going to shadow. He's just going to stay on one side. So he'll probably see him a decent amount, So that's just a matchup I'd probably avoid.
Yeah, if you had told me that Isaiah Hodgins would have been in an optimal lineup, in a Millie Maker, one time this year, I would have told you you're fucking crazy. That dude, he had like 20-something points, 28 points or whatever with Jameis. So
it's different when the GOAT's quarterback, okay? Things come crashing down when he goes away.
We kind of talked about this already.
I'll hit it again, though, because I will say I thought a lot about this. Like, because at first I wanted to play the under, but then I'm like, I think like sharp money is going to come in on the under, and I'm wondering if I could like scoop up an over. Because you got to remember, the coach, like Dable was calling plays like a moron. Like he was fully like, I'm trying to save my job. You go out there and play like this is the fucking Super Bowl every week. And that's how you get a guy that's not built to be taking these hits, to getting all these hits. The problem is Jackson Dart himself is also very dumb. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to him talk or anything. Like, not a lot going on upstairs, which is fine for quarterbacks, if you're just full gut, all that blah, blah, blah. Some guys are like that. That's fine. I don't know if he's going to be following. They asked him about the concussions. He's like, nah, you guys got this wrong. Like the blue tent, only one of them was for concussion. Like the rest of it, I don't think he's worried at all about it. A young guy, not the brightest in the world.
Invincible,
I might go out there and run. I in prime time, this is, last night was Washington's Super Bowl. This is their Super Bowl right now. Yeah, I think he might run. I think he might run. So my first instinct was under, and I think that's a smart play. Historically, logically, there's a lot of stuff.
Logically.
I don't know if this guy's going based off logic. So for me, it's at like 29 right now. He was in the 30s almost every game before, even against the toughest quarterback rushing team in the Broncos. He was still priced at like 36. So if this can get down to like 25 or something, or 24 from like 29, that might be time for me to buy back in on the over, because I would be shocked if sharp money doesn't come in on the under, honestly, just because I get why. I totally get why you bet the under, but I don't know if Dart is. I don't know if he's going to be careful. You know what I mean? In prime time, the whole world watching. I think he's going to want to try to put on a show. And for him, when your best wide receiver, like we just said, is Wando Robinson, it's not always going to be a guy open downfield. Sometimes you got to make shit happen yourself. And I think he's going to do it anyway. So I'm curious how that goes. I'll be watching it closely, but I'm going to be monitoring the number because I would like it to get a little bit lower before I bet an over.
Yeah, it just makes me think what would Malik Neighbors be doing with Jameis Winston at the helm, bro? How good he would have been, bro. But it's
legendary.
RIP my fantasy season when he went down. So you can't really bench Jefferson. Yeah, for sure. Let's we'll read this one and then we'll get right into your play here, Stu, and we'll get you guys on your way. 150 of you guys in here live. We appreciate you across YouTube and Twitter, X, whatever we call it now. But we appreciate you guys joining us on this early Pass the Prop. Thoughts on Pat's receivers for longest reception? Which one are you going with? I know, obviously, Stu, we'll kind of talk about it here in a second. But anything you want to talk about here before I drop your long shot?
Yeah, it's Booty for sure. And the other guy I'm considering is not Mac Hollins, despite his no shoes, cool lifestyle and his educational videos on TikTok. I will not be going with him. I actually would like his under at 2.5 catches a little bit, but he's kind of dependable. So for me, it's between Booty and it's between Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas. Those are the two guys. I like them both for longest reception. But yeah, obviously we'll be talking about Booty here in a second with my long shot. So yeah,
I'll just let you take it away.
Sounds good. Best price over at 365. I will say, I think 30+ yard catch is probably a little bit better, but that's really limited right now. It's not really available. But I think 30+ yard catch is probably a little bit better. But Booty, the thing about him is he's either going like 1 for 14 or he's going like 5 for 70. Like that's how it goes. He's a downfield guy. He wins in man coverage. And what did we talk about the Giants? They play a ton of man and they play a ton of single high safety coverage. They ask you to take these downfield shots. They stack the box because their run defense sucks. And they're very susceptible to play action. They don't have very good communication on the back end as well. I definitely think Drake May is going to find one of these guys at some point. Yeah, I think Booty makes sense. I was really going back and forth between him and Douglas, so I think Douglas makes sense. That's why it's so hard to bet this team, though, is because like we haven't even mentioned Stephon Diggs as well. I think Stephon Diggs has a good game. Like when you think every single wide receiver has a good game, but then you're worried about the game script because maybe they run all game because this run defense sucks. Like there's a lot of convoluting things. So that's why I like it for a long shot, and I think that's the way I'll probably be playing it. I'll probably have a couple bucks on Booty here, a couple bucks on Demario Douglas, and just take the long shots and not the baseline because I see the upside. I see the path, the upside. I don't think they hit their like median outcome as much. But I do see a world where Booty gets very involved downfield. Last week he came back, box score only 2 for 15, whatever. Came back from injury, instant full workload. Played more than Stephon Diggs. Instantly back in the lineup. He's a downfield guy. You're not always going to produce. Those shots aren't always going to be there. Cincy, very zone heavy. And yeah, they have Turner as well. There's been a very good corner and he does shadow, but there's not really a shadow option. Like Coop said in the chat, primetime Diggs is a problem. This guy loves to fucking show up under the brightest lights as well. So it's like deciding between all these guys for a straight bet is really hard. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to get there on any of their baselines except maybe Demario Douglas just because it's 13 and everyone else is 50. You know what I mean? So at least it's a little bit easier to get. You only need one catch. But yeah, I just think Booty, downfield guy, it's what this defense is going to challenge you to do. And he's good. Like he's good. He deserves the credit he's getting because he was labeled a bust out of college, had some attitude stuff, had that gambling thing where he was suspended as well. But at the end of the day, seeing him kind of work back through that, it's a great story. I feel hopefully they talk about it in primetime a little bit more because it's a good, show of perseverance right there. And now he's going to probably get himself paid next year as well. Kind of reminds me of like budget Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce obviously really getting a ton of attention for how awesome he's been, and he deserves all of it. Booty not quite at that level, but just downfield winner, separator, a guy that or not a separator, a contested catch winner. And that's something that like a lot of good teams could use. Like imagine this guy in the Patriots, just Mahomes chucking it downfield. Xavier Worthy, if you touch him, he's not catching it. It's impossible. He can't break through any. If I tap him on the shoulder, he's not catching it. Rashee Rice, if it's not a screen and 40 yards of yak, it's not happening there either. So, you know what I mean? Like having a guy like this to just chuck it up, he's down there somewhere is very valuable. And we know Drake May is, arguably been the best downfield passer in football this year, at least top 3. So, yeah, I just think it's a good recipe for success. The Giants corners suck. And yeah, I think Booty should have a good game. So I like the long shot. It's one of those, I'll probably play touchdown with like 50 yards as well. I don't know what his touchdown's at, but obviously if he's going to get a deep bomb, a lot of them have been kind of towards the red zone, towards the end zone as well. I see touchdown is 260. So get a little 260 touchdown plus 50 yards, get that up to like 800, 900, something like that. And yeah, I just think if he's going to have an explosion game, I'd rather bet the long shots than freaking 30 yards or whatever it is.
Yeah, hopefully he gets this to you, but Drake May throws for like 180, 12 passes or 12 completions, 12 for 21. 88 yards, 75 go to Booty, and just puts up a shit stink performance. We need that. I'm still hopeful for that as we move forward. I don't think we have any other questions here. Let's do a quick recap, Stu. And if any of you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. We will get to those. So I'm starting out with Bobby Okereke over 8.5 tackles plus assists minus 120, and I'll kick it over to you, Stu.
Yeah, Keyshawn Booty, 70-plus yards, plus 450 over on Bet365. Like I said, I like the 30-plus yard catch, and I'll also be playing a little bit of DeMario Douglas, 50 yards, and some of that as well. So like those two guys for the long shots, and yeah, I like your straight bet as well.
Awesome. I'm just going up to the top here, seeing if we missed anything. I don't think so. So we should be back on Wednesday. Obviously, best primetime game of the year because the Cowboys are in it. So you can't really get too sad.
Oh, yeah. What was that one again? It's Lions, right? Oh, what a banger.
Cowboys at Lions. Lions on a 4 out of 5 losing streak. Cowboys, best team in football. I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
I know I'm going to be getting some text from you during that game. That's for sure. You're going to be watching that game close.
You want to know the worst part is luckily my buddies are all like big time football guys too, because I have a reception, the wedding, whatever it is. Rehearsal dinner. I have the rehearsal dinner on Thursday, so I have to walk through it, all that. Dude, I'm going to go to the fucking groom's house and make him fucking put it on for me. I ain't missing Dak in prime time, dog. I ain't missing Dak in prime time.
So many weddings this year. Can't you just tell him you get the fucking run through? Like, you get what's going to happen in the fucking wedding. You understand the process and go watch the fucking football game, you know?
The only reason is he has more groomsmen than she has people. So, bridesmaids. So I'm always I'm gonna find a way to fuck something up if I don't show up. So
That's fair. Some things are more important. Cowboys, Lions, you know. So no, I'm just kidding.
They know. I'll be watching it because this is the last week too of fantasy. Right, next week is the last week. Yeah. Before the fantasy playoffs, and I took an absolute shit this week with that. So I'm gonna have to score a hell of a lot of points next week. And no better way to start us off than Dak to Jake Ferguson for 3 tutties. So nothing better than that. So. Anything else, Stu, before we get out of here and we get hyped for that Wednesday show?
No, I mean I'm hyped. Like I said, I'm not here Friday either. I'll be up in West Virginia Thursday, so I'll be getting in right in time to hopefully watch that game. So I'm excited to talk about that one later in the week. And yeah, you still have a little bit of time to get your Cowboys +3 in. So I would go do that because that's what I'm going to be on. Spoiler alert. It's already locked and loaded for our, side or total. So I'm excited. That should be a great game.
Yeah. And if anybody didn't grab the 100-1, like I told you, you can still go get 12. You go get 12-1 because that shit's hitting, dog. That shit's hitting. That's my MVP right there. My MVP don't throw pick sixes against the Carolina Panthers. My MVP doesn't do that. So, also the fact that Jordan Love is fourth right now is
I know.
third. Josh Allen is fifth. Didn't really do shit last night either. Like, bro, this is shaping up.
Who's the guy betting Jordan Love 15-1? Like, who is that? I want to meet him. Because like, what?
Explain it to me. Explain it to me.
I'd rather bet Emmanuel Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here. I don't know what 15-1 is, but also I did just check. Dak is 16-1 on FanDuel as well, so that's the best price. But yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Obviously, a great game. Very biased game for your boy having Dak Prescott go against an NFC North rival. So you guys know where I'm going to have my allegiances there. So looking forward to a 400-point performance from Mr. Dak on Thursday, but we'll talk about it here Wednesday, and maybe we'll talk some Cup. I think NBA Cup stuff is on that day as well. So it should be fun. Have a good one, guys. Best of luck on all your bets tonight. Again, if you guys have any other questions, drop them in the chat that we can get to later. We usually get to all the stuff after the fact as well. So have a good one, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.